Hi, this is Karen Marola, your Southwest Florida homeowner coach. Today I'm here at Riverside Park in Bonita Springs, and I wanted to share with you what you should expect after the seller accepts your offer to purchase. That would be now called once you have an executed contract. I'd like to let you know the simple steps of what to expect. The first thing you're going to want to do is schedule your home inspection, because that is going to be a timed period that you want to make sure to have an inspector out there before your inspection period ends, which is typically a minimum of usually about 7 days to a 15-day inspection period. Now that you have the home inspection scheduled, you're going to want to try to line up your escrow deposit. Typically, the easiest way is to wire the deposit directly to the title company, which definitely just be very, very careful with wiring money. You'll definitely want to call the title company, make sure you have the correct title company and the agent on the phone that is going to relay the wiring instructions. They will definitely tell you what the wiring instructions are, so be very careful with wiring money, but that's going to be the easiest. Or you can mail the check, or you can drop it off at the title company. Now the inspector came out and we have the report, which typically takes about 24 hours from the day the inspector comes. Now you're going to want to review the report and see if there's anything that you want to ask the seller to repair before you proceed. Now that is all negotiations that you are going to request, but it does not mean that the seller has to do any repairs. They can say, no, I'm not doing any repairs, and that would be up to you to decide if you want to move forward with the purchase, or they can offer a credit, and again, that would be up to you to decide if you want to move forward, or you can take it as is and move forward. Oh wow, the church bells were going off. I looked, it was exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyways, so yes, if you decide to move forward with the purchase, everything is good. You move forward, everyone's happy, you're just taking it as is. Because most sellers are going to say, look, we negotiated the best price for you to purchase our home, and like I said, we're not doing anything. So that's up to you to decide if you want to move forward or not. And of course, if there's anything major and the seller does not want to work with you, then you terminate the contract. One good thing about that is you have a contingency on your contract, like I said, either 7 days, usually the minimum, up to 15 days, which is the inspection period, which protects your escrow deposit. So if the deal does not fall apart, or if the deal does fall apart and the seller decided to not work with you on the inspection, there will be a contract signed that is a release of deposit back to you. So yes, if you decide to move forward with the purchase, everything is good. You move forward, everyone's happy, you're just taking it as is. Because most sellers are going to say, look, we negotiated the best price for you to purchase our home, and like I said, we're not doing anything. So that's up to you to decide if you want to move forward or not. And of course, if there's anything major and the seller does not want to work with you, then you terminate the contract. One good thing about that is you have a contingency on your contract, like I said, either 7 days, usually the minimum, up to 15 days, which is the inspection period, which protects your escrow deposit. So if the deal does not fall apart, or if the deal does fall apart and the seller decided to not work with you on the inspection, there will be a contract signed that is a release of deposit back to you. Don't don't worry, like I mentioned, we're at Riverside Park in Bonita Springs, and this is a non-functioning railroad. But just wanted to tell you that we were talking about the different things that could happen during inspection. Well, let's just say that the seller agrees to give you a $5,000 credit at closing for something major that you found. Well, I have good news. The bumps in the road are over, and it's smooth sailing from there, just like on this railroad track. Actually, I do have to say, there is maybe one more bump in the road, because if the appraisal has not come back yet, that is another thing that we would have to negotiate if you are purchasing financing. If you're purchasing with cash, obviously there's no worry to get an appraisal unless if you decide yourself that you want to appraise it yourself. But mostly people that purchase cash know what they're buying and know the price they're paying, so they don't get an appraisal. But with financing, we do have to get through the appraisal period. So if that is coming in a little low, that is going to be something that we have to go back to the seller and let them know that their house did not appraise. Again, at that time, it's going to be up to the seller if they decide to come down, or you negotiate and meet in the middle, or again, that could be something where the contract gets terminated and you are within your financing contingency period, because contracts will have that in the contract that now you would get your deposit back in that situation. So now we can sit down and relax. We got through the financing contingency and we got through the appraisal. All you have to do is not buy a car and don't lose your job, and we'll be at the closing table, no problem. And if you're cash, like I said, you don't have to worry about anything because you're purchasing cash. Just don't let that stock market crash, because that might cause a little problems. Anyways, so now that we are through all of the inspection, through everything, like I wanted to say, we're pretty smooth. Well, all of that was going on with us doing our, inspections and appraisals. The title company has been working hard on making sure that there's no liens on the property and that there's no open permits, and they're getting everything done on their end. And the lender, if you're financing, has probably been harassing you for tons of documents that they need. But once we're good, we get through everything, you'll receive the clear to close, and you will receive the closing disclosure. Once you sign the closing disclosure and accept that the numbers all look good, you'll have 3 days to get to the closing table. Thanks so much for watching my video today. I hope you found that useful. And if you have any other questions or concerns, I'm always here to help.